Namaskaram girls. In the previous video we have learned what is planning and the case for planning and the case against planning. That is, why do we need planning? Why do we not need planning? Isn't it? So today we are going to learn the types of planning. There are 8 types of planning. 8 set of planning. Let me say democratic versus totalitarian, planning by direction versus inducement, short term, medium term and long term planning, functional versus structural planning, centralized versus decentralized planning, indicative versus imperative planning, financial versus physical planning, and comprehensive versus partial planning. So these are the 8 set type of planning. We will learn one by one. What is democratic? Democracy we all know. What do you mean by democracy? So all the people will participate in the democracy. Democracy means the involvement of the people, isn't it? So all the people will participate in the planning. What do you mean by all the people will participate? Either all the people will do planning? No. The planning will be given by the higher authorities and it will be executed or implemented by all the people. It will be accepted by all the people. That is, it is the widest possible constellation of various state governments and the private enterprises. That means the state government is also a democratic, isn't it? It is selected only by the people. So, if the state government is accepting a planning, means the people of the particular state is also accepting. The meaning is that only, isn't it? So, democratic planning all the state governments and also the public enterprises involved in that execution, and everybody will participate in the implementation. That is democratic planning. As I said, what the higher authority has planned, that is the planning commission, it has planned, it has given a plan and it asks the state governments and others to follow that. In the democratic planning, it is not necessary to accept the plan as it is given by the planning commission. The state government and the public enterprises have the rights to accept or oppose. If there is a drawback, if there is any drawback or any problem in the planning, the state government has the right to oppose the plan. That is democratic. The planning commission, that is the higher authority for planning. So it is not necessary to accept the plan given by the planning commission in the democratic planning. If it is okay, if it is benefit to all the people, the state government will accept and it will implement. If there is any drawback, if there is any disadvantages in the plan, in the democratic planning, the state government has the rights to oppose it. That is democratic. They have the rights. Totalitarianism, that is a system of a government which controls all the things, just opposite to democratic. Democratic, though the planning commission give the plan, the state governments either accept or if there is any problem they can oppose. But on the other hand, the totalitarian planning, in the totalitarianism, the people are asked to follow what the planning commission gives. They can't oppose or disagree with the plan. That is totalitarianism. Sarvadhigaram, capitalism சொல்றோம்ல, equal to totalitarianism. Sarvadhigaram. So whether it is good or bad, whether it is benefited or not benefited, the people or the state government are tend to follow the planning given by the planning commission or the higher authority, that is totalitarian. Totalitarianism. Sarvadhigaram. Okay. So, in the totalitarianism, the central only control and direct all the economic activities. The consumption, production, exchange, everything is controlled by the central government and the state government. So, the planning authority is the supreme body. Planning commission or planning authority is the supreme body. All are tend to follow what the higher authority gives. So, democratic and totalitarianism. Democratic is though the planning commission giving the planning, the state governments, they have either accept or if there is any fault, they can oppose the plan. Here, we cannot oppose anything. We have to follow what the central planning authority gives. So, this is democratic and totalitarian. And the next one is centralized and decentralized. Centralized mean the central planning authority, they will put a plan and it will be executed one by one to the bottom of the people. The central planning, and it will give to state government, and it will given to municipality and corporations, and municipality given to panchayat, and panchayat will given to people. So it will come from the top to bottom, that is planning from the above. So மேலிருந்து till the bottom of the people, the plan will be executed, implemented. Decentralized, just contrary to this. Planning from the below. So first the people will give the requirements and it will be given to panchayat and it will be go to municipality. Then they will taken to state government. Then the state will taken to central. So this is planning from the below. That is decentralized planning. Centralized planning, the central authority formulates a plan and objectives and targets, and it will be given priority for every sectors of the economy. So in other words, it is called planning from the above. Under decentralized planning, the local organization and the institution, they will formulate a plan and they will take to the central and adopt, execute and supervise the plan without the interference of central authorities. So this is called planning from the below. So they will do their work without the interference of central and the state. So that is planning from the below or decentralized. And the next one is planning by direction or inducement. Planning by direction and inducement. Planning by direction, the central authority plans and it gives directions and orders how to execute the plan. gives directions and orders how to execute the plan in accordance with the predetermined targets and the priority. Because they will already, planning is nothing but predetermined and well-defined aims, isn't it? So, the planning by direction already they have the predetermined targets. So, based on the targets, they will give the directions and the orders to execute the plan. Unless the inducement plan, the people are induce or enact in a certain way through the monetary and the fiscal policies. So here, the people are induced or they make the people to act based on their monetary and the fiscal policies. So here they will encourage the production of a commodity by giving subsidy. That is inducement planning. If they want to increase the production of a particular commodity through the monetary policies and fiscal policies, the central government, it will give some subsidies to the productions people, the business people, the producers. By giving the subsidy, they will increase the production of a particular commodity. So that is one type of planning. That is inducement planning. அதாவது மக்களுக்கு ஊக்கத்தொகை கொடுக்கறது மூலமா நம்ம வந்து பொருளாதாரத்தை மேலே ஏற்றிடலாம், எக்கனாமிக்கில் கொஞ்சம் growth கொண்டு வரலாம்னு நினைக்கிறது. That is inducement planning. So here, why they give this inducement planning? To achieve the same result under the planning by directions, but with less sacrifice of individuals' liberty. So இங்கே directions orders கொடுப்பாங்க, but இங்கே they will give less sacrifice, isn't it? So the people, they voluntarily come. And then indicative planning, indicative and imperative. Indicative and imperative. Indicative planning is a peculiar, unique plan in the mixed economy. That is, it was practiced in France since Monod Plan of 1947. It's a strange, unique one. What does it mean? The outline of the plan will be prepared by the government. Usually, in a mixed economy is nothing but the coexistence of public and the private. Already we have studied, isn't it? Mixed economy is the coexistence of public and the private. So in a mixed economy, public and the private. The public, that is the government, will design a plan. And what it will be do? It will discuss with the private representatives. The plan will be prepared by the government and it will be discussed with the private representatives. Trade unions, consumer groups, financial institutions and other experts in the particular field. So they will call all the people and they will have a discussion on this planning. And it asks the private to execute the plan. The public will provide all the resources and other things, and it will ask the private to execute the plan. That is indicative. The state or the government provide all facilities to the private sector, and they will ask the private sector to fulfill the targets. Privatization, இப்போ படிக்கிறோம்லடா, nowadays we are banking sectors and other sector are becoming privatization. Though the government is planning, it is executed by the private people. So that is called indicative planning. while it is asking the private, it will not force the private, but it will have a vigilance, watchfulness. It had and keep an eye on the private sector functions. So the planning procedure is soft and flexible. So in the indicative planning, the government will put a plan, make a plan, and it will ask with the trade union, consumers, producers and other things, and the private representative and other experts, and they will hand over their plan to the private and ask the plan to execute or implement. The public or the government will keep an eye on them. They will just watch. Imperative planning. The state is the powerful in preparation and implementation of the plan. So, the implementation is a matter of enforcement, isn't it? Once, the USSR President Stalin used to say, our plans are our instructions. So, the complete control. Already we have studied imperative means command, order, isn't it? In English we have studied command, order, request, imperative. So here command and order. The USSR President Stalin says, our plans are our instructions. We are instructing our people to follow that. So that is imperative planning. So the planning authority will have the complete control over the state. All the society will comes under the control of the planning commission. There should be no consumer sovereignty. The government policies and the procedures are very rigid. It won't be flexible. Inga flexible, inga rigid. Not flexible. So strictly they follow the rules and regulations or the instruction given by the government. China, Russia already we have studied. China and Russia are following this type of planning. India, like India, we are planning this type of indicative planning. And the next one is short term, medium term, long term planning. Short term, medium term and long term planning. Usually the short term is a planning of annual, 1 year planning. Medium term, 3 to 7 years. 10 to 30 years and above. That is long term planning. Usually short-term plans are known as controlling plannings. Controlling plans. And then also called as annual plans. Because 1 year plan I already told you. The other name is annual plan. Because 1 year plan, so this is also called as controlling plans or annual plans. The medium term plan, 3 to 7 years I told. So minimum medium term period of is 5 years only, usually 3 to 5 years maximum. The medium term plans consist of 5 years planning. It talks about the financial resources and also the physical resources. So in the medium term planning, it talks about the financial and also the physical resources. The long term plan is also called as perspective plan. Perspective means expected. Expected plan. 30 years it will be like this. In 20 years, another 20 years, India will be like this. So perspective, expecting, anticipating. Usually, in the long term, as we studied, there will be a structural changes in the society, isn't it? Almost all the things will be changed. A vast change will be happened in the long term. So this is called expected plan or perspective plan. And also we can see lot of structural changes in this plan, long term plan. And the next one is financial and physical. Financial talks about the money. Physical talks about the allocation of resources and other things. So financial and physical. As I said, financial, let's talk about the technique of planning in terms of money. Allocation of resources in terms of money. But in the physical planning, allocation of resources in term of men, material and other things. Resources allocation on money is called financial planning. In terms of money. Resources allocation in terms of money is called a financial planning. Resources allocation in terms of men and other materials are called physical planning. Functional and structural. The next one is functional and structural. It refers to the planning to remove the economic difficulties. It focuses on while a plan is implementing. As I said, planning is a predetermined or well-defined aims, isn't it? Based on the particular situation, they will prepare a plan. We cannot expect that the plans which are determined earlier will be suitable for all the situations or all the years, isn't it? Sometimes due to the changes in the society, due to the changes in the climate, there are so many factors, economic and non-economic factors we have studied, isn't it? So with the changes in the factors, we will have a changes in the planning also. So there should be some difficulties while we are implementing the plans. சில பிளான்ஸை இப்போ உள்ள சூழ்நிலையை வச்சு பிளான் பண்ணுவோம்டா, பட் while the execution is going on, பிளானை செயல்படுத்தும் போது நிறைய நடைமுறை சிக்கல்கள் வரும் இல்லையா? இப்போ ரீசென்ட்லி we heard that they have planned to open the school on October 1st. But while they announced, if they started implementing வரும்போது they faced so many problems. So they have dropped the plan, isn't it? That is economic difficulties, functional difficulties. அதுதான் functional planning. ஒரு விஷயத்தை நடத்தும் போது வரக்கூடிய பிரச்சனைகளை சமாளிக்கிறதுக்காக செய்யக்கூடியது. By directing all planning activities with a structure. Here already I told you structuralங்கிறது changes இல்லையா? Changes in the socio-economic welfare. Structural changes in the socio-economic welfare. Changes societyல வரக்கூடிய changes வச்சு பார்க்கக்கூடிய planning பேரு structural planning. Comprehensive and partial. The next one is comprehends அப்படினாலே விரிவா செய்யக்கூடியதுன்னு அர்த்தம். Partialனா apart. comprehensive and partial. So, the general planning with all the major issues. The general planning with all major issues for the whole economy. So, entire economy, complete economy is called comprehensive planning. But here it includes all the sectors. If only few sectors are included for the planning, is called partial planning. The entire economy, if all the sectors are included and the major issues are calculated for the planning, is called comprehensive planning. In the economy, if only few sectors are taken and their problem alone dealing with, that is partial planning. Do you understand, girls? These are all the types of planning.